Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. In this video I want to cover another exciting project, and that's WaBi, the crypto token for safe consumer products. Now these guys are tackling that issue of counterfeit goods to ensure the authenticity of products through what they're calling safe retail channels. So $461 billion of fake goods circulate globally. 63% of those originate in China, and there's been a number of scandals over the years that have made the headlines. Now that's led to companies trying to develop solutions. We've covered similar projects on the channel in the past that have come to the conclusion that RFID and blockchain technology is a great solution. Now WaBi is slightly different from those other projects we've covered in that they are really focusing on that counterfeit good market to ensure authenticity of products rather than just supply chain logistics. So these RFID chips we've spoken about, they're very cheap to manufacture en masse. They only cost a few cents these days. They give these physical real world products a digital identity, and consumers can then scan those with their phones with easy mobile apps. They've had a working app, they've had some pilots, some real world relationships already. I'll talk about all that. They're tackling the baby food industry before moving into cosmetics, alcohol, and pharmaceuticals. Now the WaBi token itself will be used for a number of incentives, so loyalty programs, referrals, discounts, as well as switching to their own blockchain down the path. I'll talk about how I'd like a bit more clarity about how those master nodes are going to work in the future as well. So this is the parent company here, Bellamys. So secure, anti-fake system that connects you to your consumer directly. So they want to get that consumer involved at the point of sale through that one-touch app, nice and easy to use. It's on the iOS and Android store already. This is a big part of the Chinese consumer's life. So I'll talk about it just shortly, but Chinese consumers are very familiar with using this technology, scanning QR codes, ordering online, more so than in Western culture. So just quickly back to those RFID chips, linking that physical and digital world, robust enough to survive, transport and supply chain logistics, but also fragile enough that they'll easily show if something has been tampered with to ensure that micro security. So timeline of development, as we mentioned, a number of scandals over the years. RFID chip was chosen as the best technology. They've had a minimum viable product since 2014. Selected as one of the most innovative companies at Open Innovations Forum in Moscow. They've also won government grants here. That's what we look for, a healthy relationship with the Chinese government. I'll talk about how that can be a bit of an issue. That working app on both iOS and Android I spoke about as well. Opening with real world online stores, okay, consumers are happy to pay a 20% premium for the assurance of safety. And as I mentioned, that's very big in those overseas countries, more so in some of the countries you may be used to if you're a Westerner. So I've signed contracts with some baby stores already. Successful ICO. It has had a run up in price. It's since cooled off. I'll talk about that and what they've got to look forward to as well. So here's this pilot that started back in September. So you see this sort of Bellamys shelf, as they're calling it here. Those consumers that are very familiar with using mobile apps, scanning QR codes, ordering online, getting delivery. This is a big part of the Chinese consumers' lives. So WaBi is available in WeChat, that huge app we know that the Chinese consumers love. I think this has got plenty of room for growth. So the team here, it's a very young team. So they do have experience in relevant fields, but just something to be aware of, that they are very young. So there's a few more experienced advisors, which is great to see, but I would like to see a little bit more experience added to that main team. So baby food is where they're starting, and I want to talk about a big Australian company, Bellamys Organic, that produce organic baby food. Now, this is in my home state of Tasmania. I was an investor on day one of this, and it ran from $1 all the way to $15. Because Chinese consumers are happy to pay a premium for these certified goods that they know, aren't fake. They're not going to poison their young ones. That's where this middle class that is forever growing in China is happy to pay the premium. That's why I like this industry that they're getting involved in. But I also wanted to show you that the volatility that this share price and Bellamys, saw is an issue that we've seen in the crypto space. So Chinese regulation, anything that can harm imports and exports, is something that we need to be aware of when investing in these Chinese-based products. The Chinese government can be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending whether you've got them on side or not. So we just want to keep that in the back of our mind whenever we're investing in these Chinese projects, that risk to reward, what balance of our portfolio it should be. So looking forward, and the key to all these different products is building those real world relationships, business development, getting your brand out there, building that sales network. They're initiating discussions with Fortune 500 companies. We've spoken about baby food, but moving into other food industry, but alcohol is a big one. So, methanol poisoning versus real ethanol, and just the actual product itself rather than fake product in the wine industry. We know that this is a huge issue. So pharmaceuticals, those products that are out of date, products that have experienced degradation, they may not have the right percentage of active ingredient. That's a huge problem when we're treating patients. So another number of other industries that these guys can jump into. That scope for growth is something that I really like about this product. So just something I'd love some more clarity on is the launch of this Bellamys masternode. So we've spoken about the blockchain for ensuring those supply chain logistics, but I want more information about if they're moving to their own blockchain, if they're going to be moving to proof of stake. Anything that gives token holders that incentive to collect dividends is obviously a big plus, and I couldn't find a lot of detail about that in the white paper. So there's plenty to look forward to, plenty of positives, but I'm looking forward to when they put out some more details about those master nodes. Now, obviously, this has cooled off a little bit. So some big YouTubers covered this one, and it ran up to $5.60. Market cap, 250 million. It's since cooled off back to 77 million. It's hovering around $1.50 at time of recording, and I think that represents obviously a lot better value to get in here if you're looking to add this one to your portfolio. So plenty to like about this project. Switching from baby food into pharmaceuticals, alcohol, online technology, retail, starting in China, moving throughout Asia and the rest of the world. Plenty of scope for growth. I think it's pulled back a bit like a lot of projects. It now represents a lot better value. We know that RFID technology is a great use and application of blockchain technology. It's solving a real world problem. They've got a working product and real world partnerships. I think there's plenty to like about this project. So if you've enjoyed this video, please hit like, share these videos around, subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for tuning in, guys. Cheers.